Timber Talks is brought to you by Wood Solutions. Stay up to date with the latest in timber, the building material that is strong, safe and sustainable. Here is your host, Adam Jones.
HoHo Vienna is the world's tallest wooden tower, standing at 24 floors and 84 metres in height, and is a great example of how we can combine concrete and timber to achieve the best solution for mid to high-rise buildings. Richard Woschitz started the Woschitz Group and is a structural engineer for the project. Today we're going to speak to him about the structural system and the feasibility for high-rise timber buildings, the importance of including fire authorities for innovative projects, and managing moisture during the construction process. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation with Mr. Woschitz. I'm sure you're going to enjoy too. So without any further ado, here is the interview.
Yes, I can tell you something because it is a very interesting project was built in Austria in a new district. It calls the Lake City from Aspern. It's a special district of Vienna. And the government says, how can we make some very interesting pilot project for the future on this place? And then our company has made the structural engineering and making the idea how can we make skyscrapers or wood high-rise buildings in wood construction. And the architecture was Professor Rüdiger Leiner, and before he planned this great building, he didn't plan some much great buildings in wood. And till I was 1996, an assistant of the university, assistant of the Institute from Timber Structural and Structural Engineers on the Technical University in Vienna, and I told him, please, when we start with the first idea from our owner, we must look how can we work together, because we must be always in symbiose between the architecture and the engineer before we start with these great buildings. And I told them, please, I give all my information for the engineering and also for the material from wood in this project. And we do this. And both we say, how can we make this project very easy? The main idea was keep it simple. Keep it simple to understand how can it works, how can it be in the construction, and it can simple understand what happened. But what happened of this special project, we want to find out only 4 elements. This is the columns, the ceilings, which was a hybrid between wood and concrete, and this was the walls, was always prefabricated within the windows elements, and we have around all stories a precast beam, and then we connected these 4 elements without screws and without metal jointing. And the second one was that you say what happened with the stability for this project. So we make this in combined between concrete and wood. But sure, yes, it's not a really wood construction, but I think both material, also concrete and the wood, have advantages and disadvantages, and I think it is necessary to find out how can we find and combine between concrete and wood for a very efficient element. And I think we do this on this project because for stability we take at first the vertical core, we make this on place with reinforcement concrete. And at the same time, when we make this on place in the factory, we can make all prefabricated elements. And the prefabricated elements was the columns, was and glulam laminated timber, and these are the precast each beams, and these are always the precast hybrid slabs.
For the stability system, so you've got a concrete core, and are you using glulam bracing in the four sides of the building as well?
Yes, it's correct, because I think the precast, we make all precast elements on site, not all precast elements in the factory, and on site we make all vertical cores with the concrete and do this on place.
And you mentioned you use timber, concrete, composite floors. Why did you choose this system out of all the ones you could have chosen?
I do this system because this has much more advantages, because it is better to have that you can make much more span, and also you have much more mass for vibration, and I think it is a lot of much more advantages that you combine these two materials.
And you mentioned simplicity. Can you talk a little bit more about how you design the building so it could be more simple, maybe in the decisions about connections?
The connections is very easy because you have only one details, and the details was on a section point that you put the columns, and then we get the beams, and on the beams we get the ceilings elements, and this connected very easy, so that we can need only a grout, but not a metal connection.
So for the developer at the start of this project, was this going to be more expensive or less expensive than, say, traditional construction? And if it is more expensive, why did they choose timber for this project?
We want to find a pilot project to make a point for the future on this place, and obviously the developer says, how can we find some special idea? Can it be make a special project like with the architecture? But he just know we must find much more. And then he makes the idea, or he want to make this building in a wood or in a hybrid wood construction. Sustainability is one of the point who says to the owner to gives a chance for build these big projects with the material wood, and it is one of the point. And the next one, how can we work very faster on the building side, and you can just do it when you make much more prefabricated great elements. And this was just the second reason that says the developer, yes, we do this in this art of conception.
So let's talk about the speed of construction. How quickly did you build this building per floor?
Yes, we do this very quickly because we can take 1 week, 1 floor. And the HoHo, you must say, there are 5 blocks, and with 2 blocks we start in the year 2017, and I'm very interested for the Lego principle, and because I find it very, very good, because you take one bricks to another, and I also told this example, please give a child some Lego bricks and told him, please make some skyscrapers, and he will begin to work, take one bricks to another, and then he will look at maybe 20 centimeters or 30 centimeters. Oh, it looks instability in one direction. And what does she do? He turn around 90 degrees and also start with the second system. And so easy this works, so easy. This was one of the idea from our construction principle. And we do this also very fast inside, so we can finish this in always one store in 1 week. And before we start with the assembling, all people must be much faster and faster and faster. Like they was very, very fast on the 24 stores.
Yeah, they keep learning.
Keep learning the process between the prefabricated, the logistic and transport. And this was one of the best learning from all people.
Can you talk about logistics and transport and how you did it, and maybe some of these learnings from this process?
Yes, we do something on the on these three elements, like the logistic, like the transport, and also how we can do all the assembly work on the construction. And we learned in the company at first we start with some simple elements in the fabric, and then we start here on building side, but it keeps very, very good. So this our idea was makes it very easy, and after 3-4 months it works very good. The supplier for this project was it calls Handler Bau. It is a company in Austria, and I work with them some another projects together, and I told them, please, we need only the same person from the beginning to the end. But I think it's very necessary for this special project that to have a team between all persons who wants to make this special project. No, I think a good project has been done when we work at the first time together. And our engineers makes all the static calculation and also the technical requirements, and then we goes all section sketches, also vertical and some special details, and we also makes a model in a 3D model from the construction, and then we give this to the suppliers engineers, and they makes the detail in drawings, and for also the work drawings, and then they give to us to say it is okay or not okay. These are the cooperation between our engineers peoples with the suppliers engineers.
We'll touch on the fire engineering as well where we can. How much timber was left exposed in the building?
I think it's also necessary because the fire resistance is, I think, all over the world the same problem. And I always says, what is the real problem? Because we know that the wood burns, but especially we know how it burned. Also, we start before we begin with to plan. We start with the fire department and the fire authorities, and we take this all in the first ideas from the planning. But I think it is what was a good idea because the people say what we can do. And for the project in HoHo, we have a fire resistance for 90 minutes, and we must make a sprinkler system. And in Austria, the regulator says that you have some maximum area field. It is 800 square meters for a closed system. And we said, okay, we take it better. We only need much smaller areas that allowed. So it only makes the 400 square meters area. And this is one of the from 7 points who had we spoke with the fire department and the authority before we begin to plan. And they told us, please, can you make some fire tests before you start? And we make 2 fire tests. One at first before we begin to planning, and the second before we begin to build on place. And both fire tests are very positive. So that the fire department and the authority was also glad, and I also, and all my my colleagues, because it's good to see how what happens when it burned 90 minutes, and we only have one special connected, and the fire department said, now we must show that it not burns inside on this connection, and it doesn't.
That's probably another benefit of simple design, meaning the fire testing process would be much more simple as well. Is that right?
Yes, I think it must be all simple, whole over the project. I think the simple idea, because you have 3 blocks, they can the stability together, and also the process was very simple, and also the fire test was very simple. I must say before, one was very interesting because the architecture and also the developer wants to feel the surface of the wood. So in the HoHo, the surface inside is always wood, like the walls outside or the columns, and these are the special elements for the fire resistant. That this is exactly that you had a resistance for 90 minutes. And in Eurocode 1 we also have it calls a robustheit from the structure. So maybe one of each other columns can be failed, and there doesn't collapse the whole system.
I'd like to talk a little bit about construction as well. How is moisture managed in the timber as it's going up?
No, I told all the company we must finish on one day some structure, because we have the walls and the columns and the ceilings, and it will be closed. And after one day on the surface, we also have a bituminous also for the water. When it's raining, maybe in the night. So yes, we measure the water in the wood, and we have 12%, because we must look always. I think it is much more problem when we have a water problem. Much more well as it burns. When it burns, we know how it burns. But when the water is inside of the wood structure, it can be very, very, very bad. So we must looking always for all production, all for the assembly on site, that we don't become water into the wood structure. Because I'm also the friend that you see all surface from the wood structure, maybe like the CLT or see the glue laminated construction, whatever. And because when I see it in the office, I can look what happens. What happens when you have some water problem, what happens when you have some fire problem, and so on. I'm not a fan that to collapse with gypsum and so on, because you can look what happens in the construction. So I think it is necessary to see the whole open surface for the wood structure. And when the water comes in the wood structure, and also can be also above, there's no problem for the wood construction. The problem happens when it is inside and cannot outside.
Yeah,
this is the great problem for the wood structures.
So we're coming toward the end now, Richard. For you, what do you think the future is for timber construction?
I think if you listen all news for the climate warming, and I think it is a big change for this very important material wood, because wood is produced in the friendly fabric in the forest. And I see now the time is good for the future for the wood structures. And I think with the HoHo, I told in the construction system and pilot for the future. Now we have no problem to go in much more than 10 or 20 or 30 storages. It's not the static problem. And I think wood structure have the big change that you can need this big advantages that you can prefabricate it, create these elements. And I hope I know, because we make the idea from the HoHo also for the next structures engineering for the Hout in Amsterdam.
Okay, that's a very famous project as well. How tall could we build with this system using a concrete core and glulam bracing at the facade? How big can we go?
I think we can go. When we do this very intelligent, I think we can go 150, 200 meters. Why not?
So that's about 40 stories? Wait.
These are
45 stories?
45 stories.
So very tall buildings, okay.
Yeah, maybe it can be 50 stories. Because Japanese people want to make till 2040 a great high-rise building with 350 meters high.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I thought maybe it was good marketing rather than reality, but maybe it's reality.
But the reality, I think, HoHo shows how it's going, how it's doing for 84 meters, and I think double sizes also can make this.
Oh, that's exciting. Maybe a challenge for any engineers listening.
Yes. Of course, is it?
If you've got a project coming up and you're not sure whether it should be timber, then the Mid-Rise Advisory Program will be able to help. One of the things we can do is a feasibility analysis. So looking at the project from the point of view of fire, costing, structural engineering, the supply, and building and installation and so forth to work out whether the project is right for timber. If this is something you're interested in, then get in touch with me at jones@woodsolutions.com.au and I'll put you in touch with the right team member.